Have you ever been told that getting the perfect lead is the secret to hitting moving targets? Well, what if I told you that almost everything you've learned about lead is actually misleading, and in many cases, completely wrong? Most shooters miss not because they lack skill, but because they've been taught to obsess over lead instead of focusing on what truly matters. Today, I'm going to show you a radically simpler way to hit moving targets. One that doesn't involve guessing gaps, calculating distances, or trying to freeze some magic sight picture in your mind. If you've been stuck for years trying to get the right lead, this video will change everything. The problem with how lead is taught. For decades, shooters have been taught one rigid idea: figure out the correct lead and the target will break. Sounds logical, but in reality, this method creates more problems than it solves. The moment a shooter hears, "get the right lead," their brain instantly shifts into barrel-focused thinking. Where are my barrels? How far ahead am I? Is the gap right? Too big? Too small? Is it above the line or below it? That mental shift pulls the shooter's eyes away from the target. And the moment your eyes leave the target, your timing, rhythm, and connection fall apart. This is why so many shooters struggle, not because they're bad shooters, but because the teaching is flawed. Yes, lead exists, but stop chasing it. Of course you need some forward placement to hit a moving target. That's just basic physics. But here's the mistake. Instead of letting lead happen naturally, most shooters try to manufacture it. They force the gun ahead of the target. They stare at the barrels. They try to measure the gap. They freeze waiting for the perfect picture. And every one of these actions pulls their attention away from the bird. Lead should never be the objective. Lead is the result of doing the right things. The real issue with gap-based shooting. When you try to calculate or control the gap, you fall into a trap. Your focus shifts to the barrels. Your eyes follow the barrels. Your timing collapses. Your gun movement breaks down. This is why shooters argue endlessly about correct sight pictures, exact distances, proper gaps. But none of those matter if you lose visual lock on the target. Every missed shot starts the moment your eyes drift to the gun. The fix: let the target move the barrels. Here's the breakthrough shooters don't hear enough. Stop trying to create lead. Let the target create it for you. This method is simple, instinctive, and incredibly effective. Think about it. If the target moves slowly, your barrels move slowly. If the target speeds up, your barrels speed up automatically. If the target rises, your barrels rise naturally. If the target crosses, your barrels follow smoothly on the right line. You're no longer forcing lead. You're staying connected to the target and letting the gun follow the movement. This creates natural, consistent lead, the kind you can rely on shot after shot. Why this method works. When your eyes stay locked on the target, your hands follow your vision. Your brain's hand-eye coordination is far more accurate than any conscious calculation you can make. When you stay target-focused, you move more fluidly, your swing stays on line, your timing improves, your subconscious delivers the correct lead automatically. You don't need to measure lead. You don't need to estimate lead. You don't need to memorize sight pictures. Just lock onto the target and let it guide the barrels. But how much lead do you get? This approach won't give you a number, because numbers don't matter here. If the target is pulling the barrels, your muzzle will always end up ahead of the bird at the moment of the shot. That's the only lead you need. And with repetition, your subconscious becomes shockingly accurate at placing the barrels exactly where they belong. Final message: let your eyes control your gun. Here's the formula most shooters never learn. Eyes on the target. Target guides the movement. Barrels arrive ahead naturally. Hits become consistent. Stop chasing lead. Stop staring at your barrels. Stop hunting for a perfect picture. Trust your eyes. Trust your movement. Let the target do the work. If this breakdown helped shift your perspective, hit like, tap, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what part of this technique you're excited to try. Thanks for watching. and happy shooting!